I pressed it.
After 3 months of shutdown, the Premier League will return on June the 17th as Manchester City take on Arsenal.
Sunny TV Arsenal, and we're live. And who would have thought? Who would have thought that I could do the impression of the guy from Sky or BBC or wherever he was from? We have got some really special guests. We've got some really, really special guests for us today. We've got Frank from Cheeksports.
How's it going, guys?
Big up yourself, Frank. Very good friend of mine. We've got Ray, City Fan TV. Big up yourself, Ray. Thanks for your time, my bro.
Hi.
And obviously, we've got my partner in crime, Igal, and Ray has frozen, and I hope the City defence will freeze as well when we play him.
He's back now.
I'll be coming back, yeah. Only way you're going to get a chance, guys. Only way you're going to get a chance.
Ray, big both you two. Firstly, Ray, tell us about your channel, and obviously a bit about yourself.
Yeah, channel's been going just over a year. Started on the 9th of June last year, so just over a year. Obviously, it's a shame that football has been locked down for 3 months. We do stuff every day, basically every single day. I think we put out nearly 800 videos in 1 year. So it's everything that you want about your football team. So previews with the other fan channels like this, reviews, and obviously when we were allowed to go to games, fan cams at games, all sorts of stuff. Financial stuff. I know a bit about my finances. And then we get experts on as well, and then historical videos from usually 70s and 80s, some in the 90s, and whatever we can put out, we put out as much, gossip, anything.
Being a City fan now, do you get cheaper petrol or not?
I wish we did. All that matters is we just know, okay, that whenever you guys fill up your cars, you're paying for our new striker. That's it. That's all that matters.
You know what? We're going to get after we do the City and an Arsenal preview. We're going to start. You know what? Ray's a great guest to have on. So Frank, because Newcastle obviously going to be the big boys with the money now, which is going to actually dwarf Man City. So it'd be good to get your reactions on that as well. Which will come to that. But let's introduce Frank. Frank, good luck with everything you're doing at Cheeksports.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
You've always been a good favourite of mine. How are you, brother? You good?
Yeah, man, I'm good. How are you?
I'm really well. It's good to see you again. Let's get to the preview. Before we get to Igal, I just want to just say hello to our channel partners. We're going live into Facebook page Arsenal Inside Out tonight, and they're all in Sierra Leone, I believe. So big up yourselves, Arsenal Inside Out, and do us a favour, share it on your timeline now. And as soon as we get to 1,000 of you subscribed on YouTube, a little box is going to create on you where Frank is on his left hand side, which you could come onto the podcast as well. So you could be representing yourselves from Arsenal Inside Out group. So and welcome to everyone in the comments. Igal, kick us off, bro.
Yeah. So first, I want to tell you guys, you can find Ray's link in the description of the video. Ray City, what is it? City Fan TV. I'm correct, right?
Yeah, City Fan TV. City Fan.
Okay.
City Fan
so you
TV.
guys can find that in the description. And I forget. Frank, did you let them know where they can find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Cheeky Sport. You guys all know Cheeky Sport. As well as that, you can find me on my brand new Arsenal news and content page, Cannon Talks. So make sure to check that out as well.
Get all the plugs out of the way first. Guys,
where is Cannon Talk? Where is that?
Sorry?
Where is Cannon Talk? Is that?
So you can find Cannon Talks on Twitter, Instagram, and we release our first video tomorrow afternoon on YouTube.
Cool. Excellent.
Okay. So let's get started.
I'll subscribe to that. I'm going to subscribe to that.
Appreciate it, man.
Let's get started. Wednesday, we got Man City versus Arsenal at the Etihad, and Man City are after Man City and Arsenal are going to be the second game played after 3 months of no football, and these guys are going to be coming back, maybe unfit, maybe fit. We don't know, but one thing we do know is they're gonna try their best to win. Both teams are going to try their best, and what we've seen from the Bundesliga is that there's no home field advantage. So let's start there, guys. What do you think about this whole no home field, no fans? What's your impression of that first? Let's begin there before we get into a preview.
Go on, mate.
Well, it's got to give you a chance. You know, what we've seen in the Bundesliga. I mean, today, this weekend, the first 7 games, only Bayern Munich won at home. Everybody else didn't. So that's got to give you guys a heck of a chance. I know some wags are bound to say, you know, for City, it'll be like normal with no fans there in the empty yard. I know someone's going to come up with that. I get that in early.
I'm glad he said that.
But it's going to give you. It's got to give you an advantage. It's got to. It's going to be a funny old game because it's going to be as I said, an empty stadium. I think we need our fans to really help us. Not playing for 3 months. We don't know which team's going to be fit and all that. So it's like a pre-season game, kind of. In some respects, it's the first game. It's early games in the season, so that's got to be a bit of a worry. But if I remember, was it last season we went down to Arsenal first game of the season, beat you 2-0. So I'd like to think we're going to be ready. I've got to get these in.
Did you guys have a friendly
as well?
Did you guys have a friendly? Because we had 2 friendlies.
I'll show you that one. Sorry,
we had 2 friendlies. Did you guys have a friendly?
So who'd you play? You played against Brentford. What was the score?
Charlton. Nah, let's not talk about Brentford. Let's move on from this.
We lost against Brentford.
We lost
Brentford, but we beat Charlton like 6-0.
I think City have had a friendly. And to be honest, I've not been. It's a funny old thing, you know. After spending so many years in football, and all you're thinking about is football, and when you're running a channel, you're going to games, you're doing all this stuff every single day, 1 or 2 videos every day. And after a little while of the lockdown, I wasn't that bothered. So I've not been keeping on top of things as much as I would have done before when you're fully immersed, watching Match of the Day and stuff on telly and reading up and watching lots of YouTube stuff. I have not been doing as much. So I can't even tell you who City played in their friendlies, for instance. And I can't tell you much about what Arsenal are up to these days, apart from that Brentford result that kind of, pricked up everybody's ears. Everybody's having a laugh then. So yeah, but I'd like to think that's the way City are set up. It is a very professional organisation, and you'd expect them to be ready for the first game on Wednesday. I think the players, from the bits and pieces I've seen, like all the players, I think they're itching to get back at football. And it's just, we're going to find out, obviously, everyone's going to find out how people are ready about on Wednesday.
Blake, can I ask you a question? What's happened to you this season? I mean, Liverpool. I still think you're a better team than Liverpool. What's that? I mean, that goal that Sane scored in your background, I was at that bloody game as well. I just want to say, but what's happened to you lot? Seriously,
there's a lot of things happened. I think when Vincent Kompany left, that took a lot of heart and soul out of our club, and it wasn't the fact that he's a brilliant player on the pitch, but he's an ambassador for the club off the pitch as well, and he's the guy that I thought he would drag us through games as well. Even if he wasn't on the pitch, he was pushing the club forward as well. So losing him as a player, as a man, as a leader, that was huge impact for us. So that's hurt us. The picture of Sane's come up, having Sane injured and all the about Sane, that's hurt us. And I also think we've had 2 seasons where we've been exceptional and we've gone off the boil. And one of the reasons I believe is we've not recruited players when we've recruited in the last 2 summers that have been first-team players. Season before we got Mahrez, not a first-team player, certainly not at the back. And last season we got Angelino, we got Rodri and Cancelo. None of them, for me, are first-team players. They're not going to push somebody else out of the team.
They wouldn't be at Arsenal, mate. They would be at Arsenal.
But Ray, we got a lot to cover. I feel like you're going to cover the whole entire preview.
Go on, Gal.
You've got to get, when you get new signings, you've got to get players who are going to challenge the people who've already got the spots. or even push them out and make them have to fight to get back in. We haven't done that for two summers. And you'll find someone like Raheem Sterling, start of the season, the boy was on fire. You know, he was talked about one of the best 3 or 5 players in the world back in August, September. He went away with England. He came back. You could just see he's starting to fall a bit. Went away with England again, had the problem with Gomez. But for me, his form was already slipping because he had no competition. Sane was out injured. Nobody was going to play on the left-hand side. We had Mahrez and Bernardo Silva fighting for the right wing spot. Nobody was putting with any pressure. And I called it back in September. His form is going. And you can see it slipping. He's scored a lot of goals this season still. I think he's got 1 assist. 1 assist in the whole season. It's not good enough. And you've seen him so many times where he's got the ball. He just puts it past somebody and tries to beat them simply with pace. Whereas before, he at least tried to put on a little bit of trickery. So he's not having. Then we've got Rodri playing as a defensive midfielder. He's not a patch on Fernandinho. Fernandinho had it all for me. And Rodri's not the same. Then losing Laporte as well. You know, the best defender we've got. That's hurt us as well. But amongst everything else, we don't have the ball as much as we used to. If you go back 2 seasons, there was a stat, and I can't remember the actual stat, but other teams, on average in the season, had about 240 completed passes against City. Last season, it went up to 70 or 80. This season, it's well over 300 passes completed. Might be about 320, 330 or whatever. And that means teams are having more quality ball. They're having more quality possession, which, you know, I think if you look at last season and the season before, they pass it around a few times at the back and then they lump it forward to a lone man. Whereas now they're actually building up and coming through, putting us under more pressure. Last season and season before, we could play with Zinchenko and Delph as our left back. We could play with players out of position and we could get by because we had so much of the ball. We had so much possession. We created so many chances. Teams were always on the back foot. This season, we can't get away with people out of position or people playing poorly. So if we've got people playing poorly, we're going to get punished. And we've seen it many times. Edison's not the same player. You know, shot stopping, he's not. He's making silly mistakes. Once again, he's got no pressure on his position. So all these things, you throw them all together. And also, we've given up. I think Bernardo Silva said months and months ago, we gave up on the league a long, long time ago. When we were about 12 points behind Liverpool, the players had given up. You could see that. You know, you can go into a derby against Man United and not have the desire. That's just unheard of, you know.
Crazy.
So lots of, as I said, lots of things have combined, and they've all contributed to us dropping off the pace dramatically this season.
Don't worry, mate. We've done it for the last 17 years. But,
that was the most in-depth synopsis we've had on the show.
And that's the end of the podcast, guys.
That was amazing. What do you call it? Frank, could you do similar to Arsenal? Maybe not as good as Ray, but break down what's going on at Arsenal, man. Because us Arsenal fans, we know, but like we always just cuss and cuss. Give us some educated feedback. Like what can you know?
Frank, let me make it easy for you, bruv. Let's do it from the mess that that Emery's mess left, and you know.
Well, it's very if we're going to go from Unai Emery, it's very obvious things just weren't working out, and that started to show from, I'd say, around the time of the Europa League final. He was naive to put Peter Cech in goal in the Europa League final, knowing full well that Bernd Leno was our best goalkeeper. That is where it really started to go wrong for me. We went into next season, or should I say this season, and things just weren't working out. It ended up with Unai Emery getting sacked. Arteta come in, things started to improve. Not immediately, but nevertheless, things started to improve. And we got to a bit of a patch of form just before lockdown kicked in, where it wasn't going fantastically, but there was still improvement nevertheless. Now, we've had this break. There's been no football. I've been bored out of my brains. We've come back, played the friendlies, mopped the floor, I should say, with Charlton. Obviously, the less said about the Brentford game, the better. But we did lose to a championship side. But it doesn't look fantastic going into this game against City. But I think Ray said it earlier. They rely on the small amount of fans that they do have inside the Etihad. And I feel like that's going to help us in terms of when we talk about a home advantage. Because you look at Arsenal, they've not won against a big six side away from home since January 2015. That's over 5 years. And with the no fans factor, which I know is going to be a pain for all of us that go to the games, but it's going to be a massive factor in what I believe is the final result. I don't believe we're going to get battered like we usually do by City, but I do think that factor splits the game straight down the middle for me.
Okay, let me add on what he just said. When you talk about getting battered by City, it has basically been a trend the past 6 games that we faced them. If you look at these results, You got 3-0. We lost away at home. Then we lose 3-1 at their house. Then we lose. What is this? First game of the season, we lose 2-0. Emery's regime. Then we lose 3-0 again to City. Then we lose 3-0 again to City in the League Cup final. Then we lose 3-1. Our last game that we faced them at the beginning of the season. So the past 6 games, 17 goals. Do you see that? 17-2.
Yeah.
That is definition of getting battered by them.
You know what? I was at all them games. Every one of them games I was at, right? And it's not just a result. It's the way we got beaten. It's the way we got beaten. We got dismantled in every single game. You know, and
I think the worst one for that would have to be. I know it wasn't the biggest in terms of scoreline, but the worst one for me has to be that Carabao Cup final. We played awful. How can we allow a goalkeeper to get an assist? Do you know what I mean? That was it. That was Mustafi.
That's the only answer.
No, the worst one was 3 days later when we played you. When we played you at the Emirates. I remember there was probably only about 20,000 people there. It was fucking snowing. It was fucking snowing. It was bloody cold. It was so cold that I walked around the whole ground and I went and walked and sat in the director's box at Arsenal because I was club level anyway. So I went and sat in the director's box, right? And I'll tell you something. City absolutely wiped the floor with us.
I've got to say one thing. I don't think City, in all of those games, we've won them generally quite comfortably.
Yeah.
We've not
every single one
had to get out of about third gear. We've not got out of third gear, honestly.
Especially this season's game at the Emirates. God.
Well, that League Cup final after 60 minutes, I think we were 3-0 up. That game 4 days later at the Emirates, we were 3-0 up after 35 minutes. And we didn't need to do anything else. And actually, you could tell, from my point of view, we just dropped off because, we've won the game. Let's not do anything extra. And that's the only thing that frustrates me about when we play Arsenal, because I think we should be smacking you for 6 and 7. The same way you used to batter City when we were not very good back in the day. I'm not sure all of you remember that, but we should be giving you it back.
Ray, you know what? You know what? As an Arsenal fan, you know what the biggest thing is for us at the moment when it comes to City. City used to look at Arsenal and take our best players, right?
Yeah.
City now would not go to any player in our squad at the moment and take any single one of our players. Am I right or wrong, Ray?
Oh,
we might Aubameyang.
That's the one.
Aubameyang, and we might.
Is he better than Aguero? Is Aubameyang better than Aguero? In my opinion, no.
You would probably take all our left back options. Let's be honest.
I would look at your kids. I'd look at Saka, one or two other kids you've got coming through. Martinelli seems all right. You know, right. But any of your established players, or they wouldn't even get in our second team. You know, Mustafi, Papastolos. I forgot his name.
Socrates.
Well, I actually learned his name for the first game of the season. I learned his name.
Papastopoulos.
That's it, Papastopoulos. And all the others, Zaka and all these. I'm sorry, they're not. They're like some of your players. I feel are between Championship and Premier League standard. Some of them, and for whatever reason, you're sticking with them, and they're not good enough.
Name them. Wait. I want to hear who he thinks is Championship level.
Before you do that, Gal, there's a better question than that, right? There's a better question than that. For all the Ozil fanboys, right?
Here we go.
How would Mesut Ozil perform if he was wearing a Man City shirt?
I think he would kill it.
He would.
I think he would do really good.
I think it'd help. He'll be helped by the fact that we're going to have the ball so much. And I think that if you see someone, I'll give an example. I see someone like Gundogan playing. Now Gundogan, when he's got time and space, I think he's fabulous. When he's got time and space, and in a team like City, also will have time and space. But Gundogan, when he hasn't got time and space, when he's playing against better opposition, and we haven't got as much possession, he's not as good. And I think that will happen to Ozil. So in some games where we're going to have like 70-75% possession, I think Ozil will be fantastic. He'll be another somewhere in between Gundogan and David Silva. He'll be controlling the tempo, getting the ball, passing it around, creating chances, assisting and scoring a few goals. But in the harder games, I think he'll go missing. In the really tough games, your games against people like Liverpool's, the teams that got pace, that are going to push us hard and press us hard in Europe, I think he'll go missing because I just don't think he's got the right attitude. We've seen that at Arsenal. He hasn't got the right attitude. And I don't think at a faster pace, he's going to be up to scratch. I might be wrong, but I don't think against the better teams, he's what we'd actually want.
Got a question for you though, Ray. Obviously, his contract comes to end at the end of the season. Would you take him on a free?
Also,
yeah.
Could you afford his wages? Right? Could you afford his wages, Ray?
Man City afford wages? Are you joking?
I don't think it's. I'll tell you
David,
what.
I'm going to read out the comments, and we're going to have a question and answer portion at the end.
Let Mark answer the question. Obviously, Frank's put a question to him. Let Mark ask the question.
If we're going to take, we wouldn't take him on his wages. There's no question about that. City wouldn't pay anything like his wages as a basic. The way City are doing things now, they're giving very good basics, but they're not giving 300k kind of basics. You know, most of their players are on, the really top players are on 200 to 250. It's still a heck of a lot of money as a basic, and then the rest is done on bonuses. And the bonuses that City are offering are huge. You know, if we win everything, then City end up paying, I think, tens of millions of pounds of bonuses to the players and the staff. So it's meant to be, we're going to pay you well, but the rest of it is going to be on performance. We perform well, we win lots of stuff, you're going to earn a lot of bonuses. And I think that's the way it should be. So I don't think we pay his money. I think that's the first thing. Would we take him on a free? I think he's probably the wrong age for us. If we were desperately short in that area, like we are at centre-back, then we'd get someone around the 30 years old. That's why I think someone asked about Koulibaly. I think we could go for him, even though he's about 28 years old and he's not the kind of normal profile we'd look for, but we could use it because he's top class. You can still use him for the next 2 or 3 seasons while some of our kids are coming through. But I don't think we could do that with Ozil. I think we've got too many people already who can play there. Bernardo Silva, Foden coming through. Zinchenko's probably going to move to midfield. Mahrez can play there if we need him. And Gundogan will play there. So we've got 5 already. And it looks like we're probably going to get someone from maybe Houssama, Ismail Benasser, one of your old boys, that you let go for about £1.5 million. And he's going to cost 5 million quid. I mean, I can't believe it.
Ask Sonny. He's probably saying he's not good enough. That's why he let him go. You don't like. He wasn't good enough at the time.
How can you say that? How can you say that? Because it's not me who's in charge of the youth team, bro. I didn't let him go. So I think you'd be very harsh on me there.
No, but I'll tell you one thing. As fans, we give up on players too early. And when they leave and they do amazing, like Jadon Sancho, for example, and like for us, Benassar, what do you call it? Gnabry. I could name.
The difference. I've got to stick up for City. The difference. Sancho wanted to leave. He wanted to play more. He wouldn't sign a new contract. He had 1 year left. And then because he wouldn't sign the contract, basically, we didn't take him on the preseason tour to America. Said, sign your contract. He would have got game time that season, but he wanted more. And he pushed his way to leave, which is what he did. And, you know, he's done really well. There's no question about it. And he'd have still, I think if he'd stayed at City, he'd have got to a good enough level. We'd have seen his quality, but he wouldn't have been playing week in, week out. He'd have been mixed around. You know, it'd have been Sancho or Leroy Sané. And basically, you've got 2 top class players there.
That's a very good point. You know, let me just ask you guys, and also the guys in the comments, who would you take, Sancho or Sané? Because I'll tell you something, I'd rather have Sané than Sancho.
Wow.
Let Frank jump in first.
Yeah, that's what.
See, it depends. It depends on what team. Are we talking about in terms of who would I rather at Arsenal?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I've got to think about this from a logical point of view. If we're talking about, you know, Obba's getting on a little bit, we don't.
No, just forget about all that. Just say on the eye.
I'm gonna have to go for Sancho personally.
I'm gonna go for Sané because I feel like Sané would be ideally what we're missing on that left-hand side. We don't have that player who can score goals, contribute, link up play, and even create on the left-hand side. We're using Aubameyang right now on that position, and and I don't think Saka playing up right now is even close to the level of Sane. Sane, to me, when he was at Schalke, people were saying this guy's going to be world class, and at Man City, he's shown that he's teared us up. He's literally won games for them. That Liverpool game last season, they wouldn't have won it if it wasn't for Sane.
Well, that game, Ray's got behind him. He was only ring fans that game.
Yeah, people in the comments are saying Sancho. Some people are saying Sane. It seems like Sancho and Sane, a lot of people are split. What do you think, Ray?
Well, for a start, I've got to take David Olatunji to task here, because Sane is not an injury prone. He had one injury, which has done his knee, and that's he's most of his season gone. So he's not injury prone in that respect. It's a really tough one, because I think they both got some level of attitude issues, or the questions have been thrown at them, with Sancho coming back apparently a little bit overweight at Dortmund, not starting the first 2 or 3 games, and the way he forced his way out of City. Sane, the issues he's got at City, he's not signing his contract. And people don't remember that last season, the last 5 months of the season, Sane hardly started a game. So he had issues, and Pep said he knows what he needs to do to start. He's just not doing it for whatever reason. So there's a feeling, and some people are blaming Pep, but there's a feeling that they've both got attitude issues. I've seen Sane, and I've said many times, out of all the City players, when Sane gets the ball, he's the one that excites me the most, more than Sterling, more than Bernardo or Mahrez. And Sane gets me really excited when he's got the ball, because he's got almost everything. He's got that blistering pace. He can dribble, he can shoot, he can score, he can take wonderful free kicks that we saw against Schalke, and he can provide assists. And he's such a dangerous player. He's so exciting. Sancho, I haven't seen as much as Sancho because he doesn't play for Man City, you know. But the thing is, I see, when I've seen Sane play, I see a full 90 minutes. When I see Sancho play, unless you're watching the German Bundesliga, you're only seeing highlights of when he scores a goal or creates a chance. And that's important. It's like watching YouTube. You can go, I'm sure you can go and find, you know, a 5-minute YouTube video of Mustafi being absolutely top rate.
No, you can't, mate. No, you can't.
Maybe 2 minutes. Maybe 2 minutes. But that's it. The thing is, you're only seeing the best bits, and I think that's important. You need to watch some 90 minutes. You're only seeing the best bits of somebody. So for that reason, I'd still go. I'd keep Sane, just because I've seen what he's capable of. I've seen what he's done, and in those 2 seasons, you know, that Centurion season and the treble-winning season, domestic treble-winning season, he was, for most part, absolutely awesome. So I'd stick with what I know, because I can't believe there's many better out there than Sane.
Okay. Before we get into the other players at City that are world class, because I'm thinking these 2 guys are probably the 2 guys at your club that are the most notarized for being at the club. But this is a big issue for you guys. He might leave to Bayern, maybe even on a free if he runs down his contract. But they're saying downwards of 40 million for him now. Like, what's going on with that?
Well, look, City have been trying to get him to sign a new contract for at least 18 months to 2 years, and he's not doing it. Now, we don't know the full reasons. A lot of people suspect there's money involved, because at the time he was first choice on the left wing. You know, Sterling was playing on the right, and Sane was comfortably. There was no one else to play on the left. Sane was just wonderful.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Forget the Sane one, right? To be honest with you, I can't give a fuck if he signs a contract for City or not, right? Honestly, right? But Alexis Sanchez.
Yeah.
At a time when you lot were in for him as well, because obviously he was ripped out for City, and Man United have totally killed him. They've totally killed him. Do you think? I know you haven't missed out, because obviously you've kept winning anyway. But is that a player that you would want to see at City?
I wanted him before he went to Barcelona. I think we were very interested in him then. The thing is, once again, you look at attitude. And I think the issue with Alexis Sanchez was, as with other players, I think Fred and 1 or 2 others, when City are just negotiating with them, it seems that things are almost sorted out. And then someone starts asking for more money. And as soon as that happens, I think City say, that's it, we don't want you, because you're not coming here for the right reasons. We're paying you plenty of money as it is. Why do you need a little bit more? or in some cases a lot more. So it's like you've just about signed the contract and now you want 20 grand more, and it's like get lost.
Mercenaries.
Exactly. But the point is, they're coming to City. They're going to earn a lot of money. That's without question. They're going to earn lots of bonuses if we win stuff. And Sanchez could have come to City, and 6 months later he'd have won. I think we had 2 trophies. A year later we had 3 more trophies. So he's missing out on basically everything. And all he's got from United and whatever is the money, and that's it. True. He could have got most of that money at City with the salary we would have paid him, with the bonuses for winning trophies, and he'd have got the trophies. But you could see where his heart was. His heart was with the money.
What a good point that was.
He had taxes and stuff. But Frank, remember when he left? I think I seen you at that Were you at the Crystal Palace game when we won 4-1 after he left?
So I was supposed to go to the game. Something popped up, and I ended up coming after the game to see what everyone was thinking and stuff. But yeah, that hurt. I remember that. But like Ray said, he didn't go for the right reasons, and it ain't worked out for him, has it? So I ain't complaining for no reason.
Okay. Guys, call me crazy, but we're actually on a better run than City. If you look at our results, we have less losses than City.
You're crazy, man. You're crazy.
Yeah. No. Hear me out. You guys lost to Spurs before the lockdown, and you lost to Manchester United, where we have been undefeated for 6 games. Yes, you beat Real Madrid, but on a 6-game run, if you just look at the numbers, we technically on a better run than you guys. That's just me looking at the numbers. I'm not trying to make bullshit up. The other side, we have less losses. Yes, we're breaking a record and getting almost 17 draws, but on that thing alone, is that something for us to take away and be like, hey, we're on a good run of form, even though it's been 3 months. We're going into this game kind of positive. That's what I'm saying, Ray. I know you're shaking your head.
Well, the thing is that I've always said, if City turn up, you've got no chance, and that's the truth. I think nearly the only team in the whole Premier League that I worry about ever is Liverpool. But I honestly say, whoever turns up, if City are on their game, nobody apart from Liverpool can compete. And I've not changed that. This is the 3rd season I've said that if whoever comes to play City, if we're up for it, we win. If we're not up for it, then you got a chance. This season against United, I'm sorry, we weren't up for it. In my opinion, not the way we should have been. And actually, they were getting ready for the Real Madrid. They've been focused on Real Madrid for so long.
What about Spurs?
Forget Spurs, mate. That Man United game. That Man United game. I was on a football terrace that day doing a live watch along with Terry from Football Terrace. Man United, Man City. I say, I've never been so disgusted in my life with Man City. The whole drive home, I was just fucking swearing the whole drive home.
Yeah, for the Spurs game. Look, in 2 games, and this is actually an issue that I've had for the last 3 seasons, but it's really come to the fore this season. We're not very, and you got to hear me out here. We're not clinical enough, and it might sound crazy. We scored 106 goals 2 seasons back in the Premier League, but we're taking a lot of chances to score goals against Spurs in 2 games this season. I believe we've had 50 shots. 50 shots against Spurs. Up at our place, I think we had 29 or 30 shots, and they had 2 on target. They scored 2, we scored 2.
Yeah, they did. That's right. They had 2 shots.
You guys are lucky, man.
Their place, we're having so many chances, and some of it is, I feel the team think because they used to just win. They were used to just winning, and there was not a lot of pressure on them. In most of the last 2 seasons. Last season was slightly different. The season before, there's no pressure at all after a couple of months. They're so used to winning, they become a bit casual as well. And I'll give you an example. I saw the game against Spurs at City. We were beating them 2-1 at the time. We were all over them. We're having chances and chances and chances. KDB, Kevin De Bruyne, he comes through on the right. Okay, the ball should have been to cross it, and I think Sterling was there. He'd have had a chance for a shot on goal, maybe a tap in. And what KDB does, he has a big lash at the ball and he hits it high, wide and handsome. It was rubbish. And it was like the way he had the shot and the way he just walked away afterwards, he wasn't bothered. It was like, oh, we're going to have loads more chances and we're going to score something else. And actually, I think we went in at 2-1 at our time instead of 3-1, and then they came back and got the draw. And I think there's some of that I wouldn't call it arrogance, but they don't. I don't think they care enough is the wrong word, but we're certainly not clinical enough. We're not making the right decisions, and too often we're not playing a team game. I've seen a bit of greediness with some of our forwards, more than normal this season, and frustration. A lot of things are combined to help pull us down, but missing out on good chances. You can't do that. And I used to say, you might be playing a top team. You get 1 or 2 chances. You've got to make the right decisions. You've got to, you've got to get that into your head to make the right decisions against the poor teams as well as the good teams. And trust me, Spurs have been a really poor team this season.
In about 10 minutes, we're going to take questions.
You know what though? One thing about City, you say they weren't clinical enough. What City tries to do is what Arsenal done when we were good at once many years ago, which tries to walk the board to the next match. That's what City always try guilty of. But go on, change the topic. Go on.
I got this for Frank. Frank, Arteta, we've seen what he's been doing during the training games with Charlton. We've seen the long balls from David Luiz straight to Ainsley Maitland-Niles down to Lacazette for those shots in both games. Do you think Arteta has a plan to basically overpass the whole midfield and just use the long ball to get to the attackers right away?
I think
because being a Man City, he worked with Man City. He knows them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that only time will tell. It's all good doing it against Charlton and Brentford. Yes, I know we lost to Brentford, but less said about that, the better. It's all good doing it against Championship sides. But the question is, can we do it against the Manchester Cities? Can we do it against the other Premier League squads? And I think, again, only time will tell. This, for me, isn't the best time to try something new. I mean, we're looking at one of the strongest sides, and arguably not the strongest side, but one of the strongest sides in the Premier League. The time to try something new is not now. You understand what I mean?
I disagree.
You think?
I disagree.
Well, tell me why.
The reason I disagree, Frank, is because we're shit. Right, and what we've been trying hasn't been working. You know, Igel might say we're unbeaten in 2020 and this and the other, but let's get it right. We've won 3 games out of 8, right? They've had 5 draws and we've won 3 games. What they're doing?
You beat Man United. You've won 4.
United have been shit. United have been shit anyway, right? But what we're doing isn't working. There hasn't been that much of an improvement. I don't care because we've still got the same players. They haven't improved that much. We're still conceding the same amount of shots. We're still conceding. It's not improved. It's not improved as much as you lot are trying to hype it up. I'm sorry, it isn't. So I would go out and try to say totally different. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
But the point that I'm trying to make here is that Man City have got an advantage regardless of how.
They have because they're better.
Yeah. So the question is, why try and make that advantage a little bit more to them by trying something new? And if it doesn't work, this could be another 4 or 5-0 defeat. Because the reason because of the wonderful things.
Because if they know how, if they're used to how we play and they whip us and they shit all over us every season, right? The last thing we want to do is do exactly the same bloody thing, right?
But Sonny, Arteta knows these guys. Ray, Arteta worked with you guys. Ray, Arteta worked with you guys. He should know you guys better than probably any manager in the Premier League. And does that worry you?
No, I'll say it again. If City turn up, they win. That's it. We've got better players who are used to the system. Arteta's a new guy for you. He's just getting things moving for you now. You know, basically, you're not losing. That's obviously a good start. But we've been playing at a higher level together for longer. So even though I think Arteta will have some good ideas, I think he'll put a lot of pressure on our midfield and our fullbacks. That's where I see some particular weaknesses. But once again, it's like a broken record. If we turn up, we should be too strong for Arsenal. But you're going to have to be on top of your game.
How do you stop City from playing? How do you stop City from playing, Ray?
1 second. I want to ask this question before.
Okay, 1 minute. I've just asked a question. Forget the referee. Fuck the referee. We don't care about the referee, mate. We don't care.
I want to ask him if Man City fans care about it.
Forget the referee. We don't care about the referee. How can you stop Man City from playing?
One thing, the referee's a United fan, so that's definitely going to be in your favour.
Fuck the referee. We're shit.
You have to put us under pressure. You've got to not allow us to pass the ball around easily in midfield. You've got to put our fullbacks under pressure. That's really where we've always struggled at fullback. Even with Mendy coming back, fullbacks, last 2 or 3 seasons, it is just put the ball down the side. You've got Pepe. I mean, if I was Nicolas Pepe, I'd be licking my lips at coming up against someone like Mendy or Zinchenko if they're playing there, because Zinchenko, he's not a left back, he's a midfielder, and he gets caught out of position time and time again. The more ball you have, the more possession, the more confident. You need confidence as well, but you've got to really go for it. All over the pitch. You can't make it easy for us to pass it out from the back, which you've done in previous seasons. You've got to really work your socks off to have a chance. And when you get a chance to score, you've got to stick the ball away. You'll get chances to score, but you've got to stick them away. And I remember was it that Carabao Cup final game where was it Aubameyang was through and he didn't score?
Yeah,
is that the one? And then a few minutes later we scored, and then the game was over. So you've got to take it's simple stuff. Put us under pressure, work down the flanks, and take your chances.
You know what though? I agree. Putting City under pressure is the best method for us. But if there's anyone who bloody good at beating the press, it's fucking Manchester City. It makes me sick. But anyway,
yes or no question: do you guys care who referees these big games, or does it faze you? Because our fan base goes crazy. Ray,
within reason.
Do your fan base? Because I know Frank.
Well, I don't think if Anthony Taylor, Man United fan, is refereeing, then I don't think the City fans are going to be too pleased. I think he lives in Altrincham, which is near Manchester, and all his family are Man United fans. Even though he says he's not, he is. So I think some of the City fans will be triggered that he's going to be referee. But referees really shouldn't make too much of a difference in the result of a game. I just hope he doesn't. I just hope we don't notice him.
I know Sonny's stance on this. Frank, what's your stance on this? Why do Arsenal fans care so much about these referees?
Because they're wankers, that's why.
So do you know what? To be honest, I don't really care who referees the game as long as they do their jobs properly. That's the truth about it. You look back to the games. We've had a few games where there's been a few dodgy decisions, and that's the sort of thing. All right, cool. That's an understatement. There's been a lot of games where we've had dodgy decisions, and that's when literally between the first minute and the 90th minute, that is the only times that I care what referee we have, because that is ultimately who decides the final. Maybe not the final score, but how the match plays, pretty much.
You know what? Arsenal supporters are so deluded. It really makes me sick, right?
Go on, why?
I think so. If we've got the ball, City can't beat us, right? If we've got the ball, majority of the time, and we nullify City, they can't beat us. Trouble is, we can't do that against City, right? So City won't give a shit who the referee is, because City are going to have the ball for the majority of the game, right? So forget the referee, right? Arsenal complain about if it's raining. They complain about the grass is too long. They complain that the pitch is not wet enough. They complain where they fucking park their car in the car park. It does not make any difference, right? It does not make any bloody difference. Stop looking for excuses and start finding the bloody problem, which is our team. Simple as that.
Okay. City have the best player in this matchup. City have the best player in the matchup in Kevin De Bruyne, I would say. But call me crazy, call me deluded. I don't care what
you're crazy, deluded, again.
But I think Aubameyang is the second best player in the matchup after and Aguero is third. To me, I think Aubameyang is better than Aguero right now. You can say historically, but Aguero and Aubameyang. The one thing Aguero has on his side is that he's played in the league in 10 years.
He's gone. He's gone.
Okay, I've done polls on this. I've done all sorts of stuff. People have said, half the polls have said, you're crazy, Aguero's ahead. And the other half have told me, when you think about it right now, Aubameyang is a better player right now.
Do you know what, Igal? You are crazy. But
I'm just going to throw up. Sorry.
Sonny, what I was saying is the Igal is crazy, but I do agree with him.
No, I've got to say, Igal's right. I think 50% of the people would say Igal's crazy. All right. And 50% of the people would say Igal's mad. That's it. Because Aubameyang is not better than Aguero. Aguero turns up more often than I think. Aguero turns up more often than not. Aubameyang, we've seen in some of the big games, he doesn't turn up. And you need it. I think you need it.
Right. Easiest way of just silencing the whole thing. Aguero has been the best striker the Premier League has ever had.
Oh, no. Let's behave. Let's behave. Oh, Alan Shearer must have played golf then. There you go.
Henry never existed.
Thierry Henry was a fencer, professional fencing. That's what he did.
Thierry Henry for finishing is not better than Aguero. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you.
Okay, let's see what the poll says. The poll, if you guys can see this poll, 171 people voted, and Aguero won. And I'm thinking it's a little closer than you guys actually think when it comes to people's opinions on Aguero. No, even non-Arsenal fans.
I suspect most of them are Arsenal fans, and they still couldn't get Aubameyang to win the poll. That's how big the group is.
I'm just shocked about what Sonny said about Thierry Henry.
It's got the most goals. It's got the most goals in the Premier League.
I'll tell you something. I did a podcast a few weeks ago with Dan Potts and some other Arsenal fans, and we were looking at the best composite 11 that we could get, from City and Arsenal and through the Premier League era. And it came, I think, one was a Spurs fan and one was a Chelsea fan. That was it. We were talking about the best Premier League teams ever, and we were trying to get a composite 11 from it. And it came down to my vote for the striker. I think Aguero, I think it was even, and my vote would have made the difference. And I went for Thierry Henry. And they couldn't believe that. I went for Thierry Henry because
Aguero has had longer in the Premier League. Full stop. That's the only reason. Aguero's had longer in the Premier League. That is the only reason he's got more.
A bit longer, but Thierry Henry, he scored amazing goals.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I don't want to take nothing away from Aguero, but he had longer in the Premier League. If Henry at the same time, more goals, 100%.
Aguero, look, the thing is, Aguero's got better stats. He's got a better goals per minute ratio. He's got better goals overall than Thierry Henry. He scored more goals, but quality-wise, I love Thierry Henry. Absolutely love him. So it might just be that I watched a heck of a lot of football when Arsenal were good. You know what? For everyone who's hating on me in the comments, right? I just want to say, right, and for Frank, who's shocked. Henry came out with a statement the other day. Everyone is looking Henry's arse, right, tonight. Henry came out with a statement the other day that he didn't realise what football was until he went to Barcelona, right? And basically, in the Champions League final, he was injured and he didn't tell anyone. Well, you fucking should have, Thierry Henry. You should have, because you cost us the Champions League, mate.
Chill.
Layman.
Okay, guys. What do you guys think? Combined 11. We're not gonna say how. Let's just see how many Arsenal players would technically get into a combined 11.
Why bother? Don't bother.
One.
Because I want to know. Just my personal opinion. I only think we have a shout for a left back. We have a shout right now for a goalkeeper because Leno's played better than Ederson.
Oh no!
Don't do that. Let's keep it real. Defensively, center backs. We have a shout to get a center back in because who is their center back? Laporte. Who else?
Cool. All right, cool.
Don't mention centre backs and Arsenal, please, please.
Okay.
Please.
This is me trying a thing, okay? I'm saying how many can you arguably say would get in. So I'm saying right there, then you have the midfield, forget about it. Nothing's getting in the midfield. Forget about the midfield. The front, Aubameyang has a shout, that's it. So out of a possible 11, I'm stretching, I could possibly get 4 in. That's me going crazy and trying to go crazy.
I think we're guaranteed 1, and at a push we can argue a left back and a centre back, but Aubameyang has to be in there.
No,
that's the only one I can think
I wouldn't give you a centre back if Laporte's fit. Fernandinho's fit, I'd say they're comfortably better than Arsenal.
That's what I'm saying. We only get 1 guaranteed player, which is Aubameyang, and then we have some sort of argument for centre back and left back.
Even Otamendi and John Stones would be the best centre back partnership Arsenal ever have.
Behave yourself!
Oh, come on, man! Come
I
on!
am 18 years old, and you're telling me that the defense of Tony Adams and Sol
I mean now. At the defence we got now.
All time.
I'm joking. Look, at the defence we got now, I'll take Otamendi and John Stones and put them in Arsenal centre back right now, and it'll be better than what we got now. But I just want to say one thing. I just want to say one thing before you do. Look, the channel's called Say TV Arsenal. I just want to apologise to everybody who knows me personally. That some of the shit that's been spoken tonight, right? Can I tell you something? Man City's fucking women team would give him a better game than Arsenal will.
Okay, Ray, you're the first fan I've seen that's a Man City fan that kind of speaks pessimistic. Why is that? Because Man City win everything.
What do you mean pessimistic about the game against Arsenal?
No, in like you actually aren't like talking in the sense like you're not saying, "Oh, we're gonna destroy you," this is that. You're kind of just actually breaking it down. I feel like most Man City fans just say they don't bring any
what stream are you in?
content. They just,
what stream are you in?
What?
What stream are you actually in? God, listen, he's
no,
not.
because he's generally. He's not being. Let's be realistic.
Right.
He's actually.
All he's done is he spoke about City's deficiencies. Yeah, I agree. But they could be pissed. They could be pissed. They could be on crack, and they'll still be Arsenal.
The thing, it's being realistic. It's trying to be realistic because this season hasn't been a fantastic season, and there's been, it's looking at the deficiencies because. We should be better. We should have scored more goals. We should have got more points. Losing leads to we were, as an example, I think was it 5 times this season City have scored 2 goals and not won the game. Now that's practically unheard of.
Crazy.
And I think 4 of those games we were winning. Wolves were winning 2-0. We lost. All right, we had a player sent off, but we were winning. Newcastle were winning 2-1 late on. Palace were winning 2-1. Leicester as well, and we lost at Norwich when we scored 2 goals and they scored 3. So that's so you see those deficiencies. So you've got to talk about them. But the one overriding thing I've said time and time again: if City turn up, they win, and that's it. I don't think it matters what Arsenal do. But if City are off the game, which we have been regularly this season, and Arsenal are up for it, it's game on. Look, we're not that. If City were wonderful this season, we'd be miles ahead of Leicester. We'd be challenging Liverpool. But we're not. We're 4 points ahead of Leicester. We're not massively miles ahead of everybody else. So it stands to reason we haven't had a fantastic season. And we're on 57 points after 29 games. That's 2 points a game. That's actually quite lousy. If we played 38 games, we're looking at 76 points, which is quite low, I think, for finishing second.
Okay, guys, in the questions, ask questions. I got one more thing. Frank, what is your prediction before we move on?
I'm gonna be optimistic. I don't think it's fair.
Frank, be optimistic.
I'm gonna be optimistic. We're gonna go for a 2-2 Arsenal win.
2-2 draw.
No, okay. I think, like I said, the game split down the middle. I think a draw would be a fair result for both teams.
Okay, I'm gonna consistently be deluded, and I'll say 2-1. And that's completely based on that's me basically just hoping that because we've seen some crazy results in the Bundesliga. We've seen guys who are relegation fodder beating teams that are stamped in the Champions League spots in the Bundesliga. So I'm thinking if we see that, I'm thinking Arsenal and Man City this 3 months can even out things. Ray, quick synopsis. What do you think? Prediction?
I think it's going to be a really, really tight game. First game back for everybody. Arteta knowing City plays as he does and how they're going to take. So I think it's going to be a really, really tight game. I think City will edge it. I think there'll be goals. I think we'll edge it about 6-0.
Guys, we need you guys.
Is it my prediction?
Yeah, go. Predictions, guys. Predictions.
I'm going to go for 2-0. 2-0 City. Okay,
predictions, guys, in the comments. Go, son. Right. Your turn.
3-0 Arsenal. I'm going. You know what? Honestly, even with my Arsenal hat on, I just can't see it, man. I just can't see it. I'm sorry, but I think 3-0 City. I just can't see it.
Okay, guys, questions. Bring in your questions. So we all agree that Kevin De Bruyne is the best player in the game. Arsenal versus City.
Comfortably.
Yeah, easily.
Okay. Now here's one more thing. When it comes to Arsenal, Man City, everything aside, 3 months off. At the end of the day, what is the most shocking thing that you could see happening this game? Because a lot of people don't expect us to win, even Arsenal fans. But I think the most shocking thing for us to see happening is Man City not being physically fit enough to keep up with Arsenal, because we started training earlier than you guys.
No, I think if our players aren't fit enough, they won't play. I think the biggest shock I'll see if I see Mesut Ozil sprinting after a lost cause. That'll be the biggest shock.
And Mesut Ozil sprinting in general is a rarity.
Frank.
Yes.
What do you think is the biggest thing that could happen that would be a surprise?
The biggest thing that could happen that could be a surprise is Arsenal winning. Hence why I haven't predicted a win. I've got to be completely honest. It hurts me to say, but I've got to be honest.
Okay, guys, bring in your questions. Sonny, any predictions for anything crazy to happen?
Yeah, fans being in the ground. The craziest.
Did you guys see Barcelona? Someone interrupted the Barcelona game. How?
Yeah, to try and get a picture with Messi.
But there's no fans in the stadium. Okay.
Yeah, I know. He broke into the stadium to try and get a picture.
Oh man.
So no,
okay, what do you think?
Let me just ask you.
Okay, here's the question. Let me
just ask you a question first before you ask a question. This is for all of you, but I don't want no long answer. Just a quick answer, and look for you guys in the comments as well. Nicolas Pepe, £72 million, right? Nicolas Pepe, £72 million, or Sterling, or any City winger, right? Any City winger, Nicolas Pepe or any City winger. And the second part of the question is Phil Foden, right? Phil Foden, because I want you to tell us more about him, because everyone raised about him. I've never seen the guy personally. Amongst our best youngster, which I would say is either Marcelli or Saka. So
put Willock next to him. Willock.
Do you want to put a City shirt on now, or what do you want to do? Because you're just giving us obvious questions where the City answer is the right answer.
Forget Pepe. Forget Pepe, right? Right. Let's go. Phil Foden, right? Because I haven't seen the kid, right? But what I have seen is Martinelli and Saka, who I rate very highly. They put my Arsenal shirt back on them, right?
I was just about to offer you a City shirt there, Sonny, but I haven't got an
mate, I'll still wipe my ass with it, bro. I love you, but I'll still wipe my ass with it. Go on.
No, I haven't got an XXXXL.
No, go on. Phil Foden or Saka?
Foden.
I've only seen Foden. Obviously, Pep sings his praises. I've seen Foden play. And when people talk about Foden should leave or he's going to leave, he's a City lad, you know. He's not going anywhere. He wants to make it at City. I think he's got a very, very good chance. I don't think he's had enough game time.
Is he any good? Is he any good?
He is good.
Very good.
He's definitely very good. I've seen him play, you know, for the first team. Usually he's been playing in cup games. He's played in some league games. He played in the League Cup final. He played out on the right wing. He had a decent game, actually. And then we tried him there against United, and it was crap. So he can play in many different positions. I've seen him play on the left. I've seen him play in the middle. I've seen him play on the right. He's got a lot of desire, and I think he's got the right attitude. And I think that counts for a lot. He's got skill. He's got a lot of. He's got good close control. A lot of attributes that you see in much more experienced players who are
very good player, basically.
Yeah, he's
I think he's a wanker. No, not really. I'm only joking.
Guys, this is the best question we've gotten so far.
Here we go.
No, forget that question. We'll come to this question next. But I just want to. Nathaniel just asked one question before that. Pablo Mari, did you see him for City?
Pablo Mari never played for City, if I remember correctly. We had him. We got him in cheaply, and we sent him out on loan for 3 seasons, I think, before we got rid of him quite cheaply. So off the top of my head, I don't. There's a lot of players who come to City when they're young from abroad who never even, I don't think, even come to Manchester. We get them in, we loan them out, we loan them back to their clubs, we loan them around Europe or even in South America. And I think Pablo Mari was definitely one of them. We got him cheaply. We sold him. We made a bit of money because we'd have loaned him out for 2 or 3 seasons. And I think he was at Toulouse. We got a few £100,000 as a loan fee. And then we sell him for a little bit more than we bought him for. It's just the Chelsea business strategy, business plan to make a bit of money.
And this is our poll for today, guys. This is our poll for today. So I want all you lot in the comments voting, and whoever's watching voting as well. Which team? I'm not even going to say which team was better. I'm going to say which was the bigger achievement, right? Not which team was better. What was the biggest achievement? City's 100 points or Arsenal's Invincibles? Guys.
Obvious. You got a whole season unbeaten. How can that not be the biggest achievement? How can it not be the biggest achievement? Don't get me wrong. 100 points in a season is insane. Hats off. I'm not going to take my hat off because my hair is terrible. But hats off to City for getting 100 points. But you cannot.
You should have a COVID cup, mate. Like,
if you cannot go a whole season unbeaten and that not be the biggest achievement, there is absolutely no way. And as for what team would win in a match, I know people like to go on about Arsenal drawing 12 games. Best case scenario for City, they draw. We're not losing.
I think if the two teams had played, I think I'd go for City. I mean, I'm not just saying it's because it's City. It's one of those achievements. I said I didn't think I'd see it again by any other team except City. And Liverpool are going to blow that out of the water this season and a half that we're playing. Yeah. But the thing is, 100 points. It's like looking at us. It's like looking at the Invincibles and saying, "Well, we didn't lose any games. You know, we drew 12, but we didn't lose any." City only dropped 14 points in the whole season. 14 points. To get to 100, you can hardly lose any games to drop 14 points. And the sad thing is we should have finished with a lot more than that because we threw games away at the end of the season because there was nothing to play for. For me, anyway, it is those 12 draws. Arsenal finished the season just happy to draw games, just to get that record. And City, they finished the season games away, but with nothing to play for. But I think City's achievement was better than Arsenal's. But we've seen how wonderful Arsenal's achievement is because ever since then, no one's done it again. Teams have been close. I mean, Chelsea in 2005, was it 2005? Very, very close, beaten by Man City. Liverpool last season, they lost one game all season against Man City.
So did Arsenal the year before they'd done the Invincible. In 1991 as well, wasn't it? They only lost the game, then we won the league. Go on.
It's a massively difficult thing to do, go invincible. I mean, the only...
Right? I was going to say that Arsenal's achievement and Man City's achievement. Man City's achievement is going to be equalized by Liverpool this year. So that's what makes it maybe less of that high bar anymore. Because if it was like, if this was, 15 years, 18 years, that record has still not been broken. So yes, you could draw every single game the whole season and go unbeaten. But I'm saying win the league unbeaten is an achievement. Until someone else does it, we're going to be known for that. Where Man City's 100 points is now this year, Liverpool's respectively supposed to get projection 106 points. That's if they lose 2 games.
Miles more than 100 points.
Yeah. And you know what, as well, what I think makes the Invincible season such a fantastic thing. Once you know you've already won the league, heads start to drop. You've got nothing to lose, literally nothing to lose. But the fact that Arsenal were able to keep up that unbeaten run, even though they already knew that they won the league.
But the thing was, for me, Frank, Arsenal were happy to draw games after that. So I think they had more to play for because I think some of the players have said, we just wanted that record. We wanted to get there. Whereas City, once we were going to win the league, we were miles ahead. You could see, I think we drew with Huddersfield Town, who were around the relegation spots. We lost to Man United at home. We were beating them 2-0. And we should have absolutely smacked them.
You know what, though, Ray? The greatest thing about the biggest achievement between the 100 points or Arsenal being invincible is, as far as I'm concerned, we won the league, so it's a bigger achievement. Right, because we haven't won it for 70 years since. So, question for me, the answer to this question for me will go on to you guys. If Man City don't win the Champions League, Pep Guardiola is the biggest flop in football, mate.
Okay, I think that's harsh. I think he's being judged on a higher level, so you can't say he's a flop. But what you can say is he hasn't won it in the cup competitions. When it comes to the European competitions, but in the cup competitions in England, he's taken all of them. He's taken everything except for the Champions League. So if you're gonna judge him only on the Champions League, that's harsh.
Yeah, I agree with you. To be fair, Gal, because of the sheer amount of trophies that Pep Guardiola has won, I think that makes up for not winning the Champions League. That's like saying Messi's a flop because he hasn't won the World Cup.
He isn't. In World Cups, and Messi's a flop in World Cups. If you're comparing to Maradona or someone else.
So you can't say that Pep Guardiola
Messi a flop.
I'm calling him. Well, he hasn't won a World Cup, so for that, he's flopped. He can't.
I don't like Messi as a person, but I can't call him a flop
because he's not won the World Cup.
You can't pick him up for absolute competition. You can't pick him up. Say that.
But then you're saying is Pep basically what you're going to say then, anybody who's entered into the Champions League doesn't win it, it's a flop because they never
You
won
call
it.
Arsene Wenger a flop?
Yeah.
100%. 100% is a flop.
Sonny, look,
Alex
Ferguson's a flop. How many times did he win it? Twice in about 23 years.
Well, he won it though, didn't he? He won it though.
Yeah, but in 23 years, you give me 23 chances. I've got to,
Let's wind way up a bit. Let's wind you guys up a bit, right?
Let's be honest. If Pep didn't win it, I wouldn't call him a flop. I'd call it disappointing. I wouldn't call it a flop.
Man City, mate.
What's going on with the FFP thing?
Forget it. We're having a conversation, girl. Stop trying to change it. Man City, right? For the last few years, they've had to jump on everybody apart from Paris Saint-Germain to go and buy any player in the world, right? Any player in the world.
They haven't won the last few seasons.
Look, let's forget it, because you lot don't believe in FFP as it is, right? Because obviously you're getting done for that, right? So you had the opportunity to go and buy Messi, you could go and buy Neymar, you could go and buy whoever. You could have done, really, because you could buy whoever you want, like Newcastle are going to do, right? So if Man City don't win the Champions League, of course he's flopped.
All right, let me hand it to you, Sonny.
Go on, mate.
Yeah. City can't go and buy anybody they want because Messi won't leave Barcelona. So that's first. Messi
He's got a point.
Won't leave Barcelona. Second, Neymar wanted to be the main man, and we wouldn't have taken him at City anyway. City, if you look at what City's record spend is still 60 million quid. So they're now working, might not have been in the past, but they're now working to a budget. They work within that budget, and they've done that for the last few seasons. Making a small profit. So we don't go out and
which I got to congratulate you guys for that. I must admit, because City hasn't gone out and spent the most amount of money, regardless. Well, they've spent a lot of money, but they haven't gone out and spent extortionate amount of money on a single footballer. They haven't done.
Yeah. So we they won't do it. And so for that reason, we're not going out and spending masses of money now. We had to do it in the early days, same as Chelsea did.
Of course.
Abramovich and Mourinho came, they just went ballistic and got to the top. And City have had to do it the same way.
Because you're building from scratch. So of course you have to do it.
Absolutely, we're building from scratch. And even when Pep came, people had to go and say Pep spent a lot of money. But you look at who our players. We had Sanya as a right back, who was about 35 years old. We had Zabaleta, who was about 32, and he was slow as anything. On the other side, we had Clichy and Kolarov, who can't defend. We had players. We had Jesus Navas playing right back. He was crap up the wing and he's crap at right back. So we didn't have the players, and Pep went out and addressed that and got the team that he wanted. Yes, he spent a bit of money, and he's had that money to spend. So
I'm not knocking you for that, though, by the way, mate. I'm not knocking you for that. I'm not knocking you for that.
You can't just waste money.
The reason I'm not knocking, you can just waste money because you got limitless amounts of the stuff, right? But I'm not
within the budget.
I'm not knocking you for that because if it was me in that, as a fan, I could give a toss. All I want to see is Arsenal have the best players and win everything. And I don't care how they get it. So all this shit about Chelsea got no history and they bought it all, I think it's a load of bollocks. And it's those Arsenal fans who want the self-sustaining model bullshit is why we're ninth, right?
The thing is, if someone come and bought Arsenal and wants to invest, if Usmanov had got Arsenal and he wants to put £1 billion in the club, I guarantee 99.99% of Arsenal fans wouldn't complain. They'd love it.
No, they would, because some of them are so deluded, mate. They'd be chaining themselves up at the ground saying, we should not win the league this way. Because they're deluded.
Very, very few would do that. It's the same.
Do you guys remember when Roman Abramovich came to Chelsea? They wore the Russian hats?
I was like 3 years old, but yeah, go on, continue.
And now Newcastle, they're wearing the friggin' imamas.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Football fans don't care where the money comes from. Yeah, they don't care. They keep going to the game, most of them, regardless of what the team's doing, what the owner's doing. Arsenal, you're still selling all your season tickets.
He's got a point.
Yeah.
All you mugs are still going.
Yeah, the only reason we're seeing our season tickets, mate, is because obviously there's a waiting list because
I'm a red member.
We're waiting. There's a waiting list to where Wall is. And if we lose it, we think, well, next year we might actually be good.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm a red member. It's hard out here. It's terrible.
Maybe I shouldn't tell you this story, but when Wembley was rebuilt, my company bought a couple of these Club Wembley seats for 10 years. And I was going down, and I wasn't a couple of things that happened I wasn't happy with. And City in those days, we were nothing, really. We had people like Stuart Pearce as manager, where we scored 10 goals at home in the whole bloody season. So we got rid of them after a couple of years. And then Sheikh Mansour came, and City were brilliant. And then it's hard to get tickets. But so you just don't know when your team's going to make it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You just don't know. Yeah. No one could have told me in 2007 that City would have been.
Who's the bigger club?
Sorry.
Who's the bigger club now?
Arsenal.
Doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Who's if you're a kid, to you the bigger club might be City, but who's the bigger club right now? In your eyes, as a kid.
I don't look at clubs as who's the biggest. Man United, Liverpool. If you want to know who's the biggest, third biggest, fourth biggest, does it matter?
Doesn't. You're right.
I'm more interested in what goes on the pitch, and I'm sure you guys generally are. If you're winning stuff, you don't care if someone, there's a video knocking about from 2 years ago with me at Arsenal when we beaten you guys. It was on, I think Neeks did this video, and it went mad. It was a couple of young Arsenal fans having a pop at me, calling me, saying City a small club and this and that. I said, I don't care. We're winning trophies left, right, and centre. We've just come here and schooled you again. I don't care about. You can call it as a small club. It doesn't matter. We're winning games, winning football. We're winning league titles. We're breaking records. We're playing an amazing football. Why should I care if someone calls us a small club or whatever? I just want to see good football, winning games, winning trophies. And I think most football fans want to do the same.
I can't come back to that at all.
Yeah, no, he's right.
Yeah, he kept it so real right there. Okay, last question of the night. The Champions League ban. The Champions League ban.
I can't believe it.
The last question of the night, the Champions League ban. If Man City do actually get the ban this season, and maybe they get let off and they only get a 1-year ban, do you think Arsenal could finish 5th?
There's more chance of me supporting Liverpool if City get a ban than Arsenal finishing 5th.
Wow, that's strong.
How many points are you behind?
I think we're 6 points. Let me check that.
We're 5 points behind.
5 points. Cool.
You're not good enough. Okay, that's my opinion. You're not good enough to get.
That was a.
You've been. Honestly, I think you've been so poor this season. You don't deserve it.
Wait, you know what, Ray? You know what, Ray? When you just said that,
if somehow all the other teams are so crap that Arsenal managed to get 5th, I think you should do the honourable thing, okay, and abstain from the Champions League next season.
Right. I've got to come back on that. I've got to come back on that. Right?
God.
I've got to come back on that. You know what? Listen to this, right? When Ray just said that, right? When you watch a Turkish film, Ray, right? Back in the day, because I'm Turkish, right, bruv? Not only do they hit you this way with a slap, they hit you with a backhand as well. That's exactly what I want.
Oh man! Okay, let me show you our pictures. Let me show you our fixtures, Ray. And Frank, I want your feedback too. These are our fixtures. If you can see, we got Man City, Brighton, Southampton, and Norwich. As a non-Arsenal fan, how many points do you give us from those 4 games?
Let's fingers crossed nothing against City. Brighton, I can see you winning that because Brighton, if that away form, that what we've seen in the Bundesliga. Southampton, I'll give you a point at Southampton, and I'll give you to beat Norwich. So there's 7 points out of those 4 games, which I think is quite decent.
Okay. Same question to you, Frank.
I'm going to remain optimistic, and I don't want to sound too biased, but then again, if I was being that biased, I would say that we was going to get all 12 points. I think we've got the draw against Man City, and then the rest of the 3 points. So 10 points, man. Okay, Sonny, I think you covered this before, but what was yours? Remind the people what you thought.
You know what, bro? I'm just going to sit and watch the games, man, and see how it fucking plays out. I ain't going to give a prediction to it. What Ray just said to me, I'm just still trying to recover from where he just slapped us so hard there. I'm just trying to recover from that. And you know what? Arsenal fans, the fanboys out there, listen to what a Man City fan has just said to you, and feel ashamed of yourself when you're licking these players' asses and Arsenal's asses, because he's just put you all of you lot in your bloody places, mate. And as an Arsenal fan, as an old school Arsenal fan who's been going to Arsenal for 40 fucking years, it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable to where Arsenal are today.
Hey man, it hurts. It hurts. I just want to say, guys.
Look, when I was growing up, we looked up to Arsenal. Yeah, we saw the football you guys played. We saw the quality, that strength with Vieira and Petit, and the flair with Henry and Pires and Overmars and Bergkamp, and you can just keep rolling off these wonderful players that you had. And we look at you now. I can't
take this assault. This is assault. This is domestic assault. Leave us alone. Leave us alone.
Okay.
This is assault.
Ray.
Honestly,
He's being honest.
I feel sorry for you guys. I feel sorry for you from what you had and what I witnessed. I really do feel sorry for you guys now.
Oh, mate.
Okay, we're gonna end it on a better note than this. I'm gonna tell you one thing. As a City fan, away from it, telling us this, not making fun of the club, not making fun of the fan base, just telling you the honest truth. Guys, you shouldn't be offended. You shouldn't be angry. You should actually take in what other people are saying and take it on your chest and understand that this is only going to make us better as a club. You know what,
Gavin? What we are here, we are 4 proper football fans having a respectful conversation about our clubs, right? And respecting each other, which is what football fans should be able to do on Twitter. They should be able to do on Facebook. They should be able to do it at matches. But for some reason, social media goes and everyone becomes keyboard warriors, and you can't have proper football debates with people. And that's within your own fan base. Never mind talking to rival fans. Listen, that's going to be us. We're wrapping it up now, guys. Ray, when are we going to do the repeat performance for your channel, bruv?
I don't know. I'm trying to think what I've got lined up this week, because I've got you on Tuesday. I've got you on Tuesday night. So we'll do Tuesday night at 9 o'clock.
Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. Go enjoy it. Go and give us a watch and subscribe, because Ray's going to be quiet at the end of the season as well. Don't forget, because obviously Liverpool are going to win the league, right?
Man City's going to win the Champions League, and then they're going to get banned.
They're not, because Pep's a flop. Right, they're not, because Pep's a flop. Right. So go subscribe to Ray at City Fan TV. Right. Is that right, Ray?
Yeah, City Fan TV.
It's in the description of this video
on YouTube.
Yeah, and big up yourself, Ray, for your time. Also, go subscribe to Frank, who hopefully will come on the channel more often. What's your YouTube channel you're going to do, Frank?
So the brand new Arsenal content page, Cannon Talks. Make sure to check it out. First video tomorrow.
Send me the link, and I'll put it in the description of the video.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I just want to give a shout out to the people, guys, you've been amazing. We've grown this month over 200 subscribers.
Wow.
Even though even during the lockdown, so you guys have done amazing. Keep up the great work. Keep subscribing, and if you guys could just share it to one of your friends, let them know, because that would help us out a lot.
And also, guys, this is the only I don't know how other channels operate, but this is the only YouTube channel where we invite all fans, all Arsenal fans, to come on a podcast with us, right? I don't care what your following is, what your sexual orientation is, what your colour is, what anything is, right? As long as you're an Arsenal supporter, I don't care if you started supporting them yesterday, right? We give all Arsenal fans the opportunity to come on a podcast, but all you need to do is show us a bit of love and subscribe to the channel, please. But I just want to say a big shout out to our channel partners as well. Arsenal Inside Out Facebook page. Big up yourselves. I hope you enjoyed it, and please share it amongst your timeline and also amongst your friends. And please do us a favour, go subscribe to Sunny TV Arsenal, and also follow me on my Facebook group, because let's try and build a community. Because for me, it's all about interaction. Yeah. So join us on my Facebook group, Sunny TV Arsenal. You can't forget it. It's the name of the fucking channel, right? You can't forget it. And please hit the like, subscribe, share button. And, if you don't like Ray, which you all do, because Ray's got some great comments on here, right? I've got a lot of respect for Ray. Come and watch me on Tuesday on his channel. Right? Guys,
we're going to slaughter you, Sonny. We're going to slaughter you.
You know what? Stranger things have happened, mate. I lost my virginity. Stranger things have happened, right?
check out
anything can happen. But listen, we're going to finish like we always finish. Subscribe if you ain't Tottenham. Subscribe if you ain't Tottenham. Subscribe if you ain't Tottenham. Subscribe if you ain't